You've been out showing somebody homes, they find something they really like, they're ready to submit an offer. What do you do next? Before working on the offer, make sure that your client has received copies of the property condition disclosures. Those will be listed in the attachment section of the listing in the multiple listing service. If not, you can reach out to the listing agent directly and have them send them over to you. You also need a pre-approval letter that indicates the buyer is qualified for that property. It can either indicate the property address specifically, or it can indicate a loan amount that the buyer is approved up to. The offer price is a very important part of the purchase agreement, where the buyer is establishing how much they're willing to pay for the property. The important thing to know about the offer price is that it has to be determined by the buyer. You can provide some guidance in terms of doing a market analysis, but ultimately it's the buyer's money and it's the buyer's decision. They have to make a decision on what the price is going to be. You also have to lay out in the contract how the buyer is going to pay for the property. So if it's a cash buyer, you're going to want what's called a proof of funds letter that says that they have this much cash in the bank. If they're getting a mortgage, you're going to need to indicate that within the contract, and also some of the basic terms of the mortgage. What type of mortgage? Is it FHA? Is it conventional? Is it VA? How much money are they going to be putting as a down payment? And how much time are they going to have within the contract to get approved and get a mortgage commitment? If the buyer is not able to get a mortgage commitment within the time specified within the contract, the buyer can terminate the contract and get their deposit money back. You also need to indicate in the contract when the buyer wants to close the sale. An important thing to know about the closing date within the contracts that we use is that they are not binding on the exact day. So the actual closing day is not officially set until the buyer has got their mortgage commitment and then the attorney scheduled the closing. The contract date is just kind of a ballpark idea of when it's going to close. And as long as it closes within 2 weeks of that in Connecticut, you're not going to be in default of the contracts, unless it says time is of the essence in the contract, which we would not add. The other important thing that you're going to be indicating in the purchase agreement is inspections. How many inspections are they going to do? Are they going to be doing home inspection, termite? If there's well and septic, they're going to want to be doing those. There's actually a specific well and septic rider where you can indicate the terms of the well and septic inspection. You have to indicate how many days they have to complete the inspections. And however many days you indicate in there, that's also the amount of time they have to either terminate the contract based on the inspections or submit a request for repairs. Once you do submit that request for repairs, you do have an additional 5 days to negotiate above and beyond the inspection period within the contract. And again, if you don't come to an agreement, you can terminate and get the deposit money back. So back to the earnest money deposit, make sure that your buyer submits a copy of the earnest money deposit with the contract. That's what's going to make the contract binding. The check should be made payable to the listing brokerage.